right, ladies and gentlemen, today we have a video by none other than Moist Critical, and he's somebody that traditionally does not make a lot of videos about gacha games or really participates in like the whole content creation scene that we might be familiar with. He typically covers very sort of like mainstream news in regards to particularly anything, and I guess today Genshin Impact is what is up on the docket for him and his channel, because guess what, guys? Apparently Genshin, Dawei, instead of Dawei crying, it's somebody else, because they ruined their marriage because of Genshin Impact. And so I'm excited to see, or not really excited, I'm like morbidly curious about what this whole situation is, and honestly, just how unhinged the community can get as a whole. Watch out for minute one. I will be.
Let me paint you a scenario here. This is kind of like a gamer's version of Rorschach's. You have $600 lying around that you're saving for a rainy day. You live paycheck to paycheck and it's emergency money for you and your fiance. But Genshin Impact has some new gacha coming out. What do?
I spend it all. Of course. Because I love Hoyoverse. I love Eula. I love Yalan. I love all these characters so much. I need to make sure that they have all of their constellations, that they're lit up completely, that they have the best treatment that they could ever possibly get, because they're a PNG, and I love PNGs. I love them more than real women, actually. And so, of course, yes, I'm going to be spending everything I possibly could be. There's actually a lot of Genshin players that do think like that, and unfortunately, they're mentally ill.
Let that money sit there, idly, just waiting to be spent? Or do you take the initiative like a true level 100 raid boss and spend that $600 that you and your fiance have been saving on that Genshin Impact drop? There's only one right answer. And unfortunately, that correct answer of spending the $600 of emergency funds on Genshin is getting this marriage in hot water. It's actively falling apart.
$600 isn't a crazy, ridiculous, absurd amount of money. At first, listen, it does seem slightly unreasonable. It does seem slightly unreasonable for a marriage to completely end because of that. But we do have to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, you might not be old enough if you're watching this, or you might not be old enough if you've already watched the original video by Charlie. It's like a matter of like trust. It's not about the amount, it's the act itself. But a lot of people, they are like a little bit like honed in on just like, oh, it's just the facts. Oh, like it's objectively not really that big of a deal. It's not that much money. And then it's sort of just like it bleeds into the whole like it goes beyond that.
Now, gamers are some of the most misunderstood creatures in the universe, but we're also the most advanced species. So I don't blame people for not always fully comprehending our methods. We can level up, we can emote, we can even make you come through the computer screen. Watch this. Sorry.
That's what I was supposed to watch out for at the minute mark. Sorry, chat. Sorry, viewers. Hope you got the sock ready.
But sometimes shit just goes cattywampus. And this is one of those stories. So this guy's fiance, his IRL life duo's partner, found out that he spent $600 on Genshin, and it's not looking good. So his fiance finds out and tries to get a hold of him. We tune in the middle of this where he's saying, "Stop calling me." She insists that they need to talk right now, but he says, "You're not being fair at all. I explained my boundaries to you, but you're not respecting them. This is exactly what Redacted says is abusive about you." So she says in caps lock, "You spent $600 on our credit card on a fucking game. I explained it already to you. $600 for 2 virtual characters you don't need without asking when we are paycheck to paycheck. That card was for emergencies with the Civic."
It was his response to her emergency funds or their emergency funds, and then bro actually just posted a picture of Furina. I'm actually wondering, I actually don't think this is real. This feels like it was articulately crafted to enrage as much as possible, or like to just be as unbelievable as possible. But that also means that it might just actually be real because of how fucking absurd it is. It was for shits and giggles. Hey, we'll just have to see.
And then he just drops a screenshot of one of the Genshin Impact characters that he bought. An interesting strategy. He tries to turn this around on her and begins calling her abusive here in a little bit, but he starts by saying, I told you my boundaries and you're not respecting them. But what the fuck? I told you I was going to spend all of our money on Genshin Impact. You can't be getting mad at me. You're not respecting the groundwork I've laid out here. I told you I was going to do this. What's the issue here?
There's a difference between setting boundaries and just straight up making completely unreasonable or extremely stupid decisions and just being like, well, I said I was gonna do it. I said I was gonna do it, so you can't blame me for doing it. He made a bet with Cheaton. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just had to C6 that character, man. Somebody responded to me on Twitter. You gotta respect my boundaries, honey. I know we're gonna lose the house. I know the kids are gonna get taken away. But I had to follow through on the promise that I made to Cheaton while I was drunk. That's a joke about Brand. Sorry about that.
This is very unreasonable. You told me you wanted her too, but you aren't happy for me, LMFAO.
You wanna know what makes this? The question mark. The question mark definitely makes this entire thing. And this is the thing, right? She knows Genshin Impact too. This honestly, the average Constellation purchasing Genshin player, I feel like is immature enough for this to be real. I'm not even joking. I do believe that like this has a lot of potential to be real.
I like how he puts like the picture of the Genshin Impact character that he bought as like a, look at this. How can you be mad when I bought this for us? I did this for us. You said you wanted it too. How can you possibly be mad?
When they get divorced or when they call off the engagement, are they like sharing an account? Because the way that he's typing it is, you told me you wanted her too. So it sounds like this is almost like a shared account. It's like a shared asset. I'm wondering when the separation occurs, who gets the account? Because maybe he pulled her and her constellations, but maybe it was her money. They sell it and split it.
So what? I spent all of our emergency money. Look at what we got for it in Genshin Impact. You should be thanking me. I just love how he's saying that she should be happy for him. Like, oh my god, honey, I'm so proud you bought this Genshin character with all of our remaining emergency money.
Babe, it's fine. I spent $600. I spent $600, but I won every 50-50. She's now C2. It was worth it. It was 100% worth it. I can promise you.
Oh my goodness. I've never loved you so much. Then he goes on to say, actually, I am done. I am a 29-year-old man. I am allowed to make purchases without needing your permission. That is an abusive dynamic. Explain that, or blank, explain that very well to me. Well, we're gonna jack out of the matrix here for a moment here to digest that statement. I like how he puts his foot down. I'm a 29-year-old man. If I want to waste $600 on Genshin Impact characters with money that we have been saving for emergencies while living paycheck to paycheck, then damn it, as a man, I'm gonna do it! And he like rips his shirt like Hulk Hogan style. In his mind, I bet this went so hard. He's like, I'm putting on the big boy britches this time. No.
I think that the first red flag is somebody actually even spending money on a gacha game when they are paycheck to paycheck. This isn't even like other hobbies where, you know, if you go to like the ice rink, right? Or you're playing a little bit of hockey, or you're like skateboarding. Almost every hobby that isn't like a game, it's actually like pay to play. Like going to the ice skating rink, going to like the tennis courts, that's pay to play. Because you have to like buy all the equipment, you have to buy all the gear, and like the one hobby that is like actually free to play, playing gacha games, they decided to make that pay to play as well, despite living paycheck to paycheck. And like that just kind of seems like a really dumb thing to do when there's literally a cost-effective, way better option that's available if you're somebody that's in that sort of financial situation. Just seeing constellations next to paycheck to paycheck has to be kind of like just one of the most conflicting things I've ever seen.
No. I'm a man. I can buy Genshin Impact characters all day till the cows come home if I want to. I don't need your permission. I am a hunter-gatherer. I gather Genshin Impact characters. Yeah, where's my juice box? And then he has the chutzpah to say that this is an abusive dynamic from her for getting upset at him.
Oh, I haven't even addressed the abusive thing. If you're calling this an abusive sort of relationship, you actually should stay single. I'm gonna be real. If you're calling that an abusive mechanic, that's like you would probably call your mom telling you to wipe your ass after you take a shit an abusive mechanic. I'm gonna be real. That if you're calling this abusive, you're probably in that same sort of boat. You'd probably say the same exact thing there.
For getting upset at him for spending all of their emergency money on Genshin Impact characters.
Mom, you gotta understand my boundaries. I don't like the feeling of paper chafing my butthole, so I don't wipe ever on the toilet, okay? Respect my boundaries. Telling me to do otherwise and not be a stinky piece of shit is abusive, okay? I hope you know that by now.
This is like a pretty classic thing where they try and like spout therapy words at the other person to like belittle them or make it feel like it's their fault. So he's going for some big, bold strategies. Yes, I said I want Furina. I didn't say we should spend hundreds to get constellations. You are a fucking addict. You already spent all our Christmas money on it.
Oh, that's a critical blow right there. Oh, he did it again? Oh, he already did it one time? Oh, that's rough.
You're snooping into your fiance's purchases. You should take a look at yourself. She flips the bird at him and says, "This is a shared card that I set up for emergencies and you went behind my back. Why don't you tell Redacted about your gambling addiction to video game characters?" He just says, "A." That's like a classic anime, like, Actually, Redacted told me all about your coercion, and I believe you are a narcissist personality. That is why you are continuing to try and control me and control my financial decision-making. You know this is my values, and I have had Furina as my wallpaper forever. I refuse to be verbally abused for being myself. I'm battling anxiety, and you do not care at all.
If somebody is living paycheck to paycheck, and they are buying constellations in Genshin Impact, that's maybe just a sign that you should just... It's over, right? It's over. They're just stupid. The one genre of game where you don't have to spend any money on it at all to get a relatively okay experience, we decide to start spending money we don't actually have on it. That person is just not fully mentally all there. And if you decide to go into a relationship with that sort of person, do recognize that you're basically playing your own game, right? You're basically repairing them, or you're attempting to repair them. You will have to fix them, because that will not be sustainable in the long run unless you both want to end up on the streets. They're going to be a permanent work in progress, because there's something that has broken inside of them, if that's what's happening. Genuinely. Now I'm hoping this is fake.
There's a lot that just went on here. So he tries to make her feel bad for looking into the finances, saying you should look at yourself, which is a crazy thing to say when it's a shared credit card that she set up and you went behind her back to use that money for yourself. Like, it's not like she was snooping. She set it up, and it is your joint credit card with her, so of course she's going to see it. We then get into some real pathetic stuff where he calls her a narcissist that's trying to control him and control his financial decision-making. Brother, this isn't financial decision-making, this is Neanderthal caveman gooner brain. This guy's saying that he's had Furina as his wallpaper forever, so he had to indulge in this obsession. Brother, it makes you sound like fucking Gollum with your Precious, where he's like touching his phone, like petting Furina's wallpaper. No, you don't get it. I've had this for my wallpaper forever. I had to.
I've seen somebody bring a Nouvelette body pillow to a 5-star Michelin restaurant and have dinner with it. He had a glass of water. I've seen the photos. These people are not okay. We have to recognize, to a degree, that if Genshin Impact was not there, this obsession that they had would move on to something else and would potentially actually be far more sinister. I'm not gonna lie. If Genshin Impact didn't exist, I feel like there would be like a global increase in the number of like serial killers on this planet. Not gonna lie. I feel like it's almost like a containment cell for like various types of like mental illnesses or like personality disorders. And it's almost like it's slightly like a form of treatment, because this isn't caused by Genshin Impact. This isn't caused by Gacha games. This is kind of like a fundamental, almost like disability that these people have. And that if Genshin wasn't there, or if the internet wasn't there, if some other topic wasn't there, they would be going out and doing something else, potentially worse. And so it's not that bad, right? It's really not that bad at the end of the day. You just got to think about it from a different point of view.
To waste our money on it. How can you be so heartless? You know I'm battling anxiety. And wasting all of our money On Furina, that helps. Furina's the only thing that can cure my anxiety. Do you want me to suffer? Is that what you want? I'm a 29-year-old masculine beast. I have to spread my wings sometime and waste all of our money on Genshin Gacha. You know this. I set those boundaries, you narcissist. He just has the gall to call her verbally abusive and controlling and a narcissist. Meanwhile, this unhinged goober just wasted $600 of their emergency funds for virtual Genshin characters.
Hey, it's not a waste, buddy. It's not a waste. Let me tell you what Furina sequence nodes do. The first one makes her do more damage, and the second one makes her do even more damage. Okay, so it was actually worth it, dumbass. Hey, you better learn your shit before you make claims like this, Charlie.
It's unbelievably pitiful. And he tries to blame her for not respecting his battle with anxiety. Hey, buddy, you know what's going to make that anxiety much worse? Having $0.
Hey guys, which one's being worse? Not having Furina's constellations or being homeless? I don't know. Furina C2 is looking pretty strong. I think it's worth the house. I think Furina C2 is actually worth the car, guys. I'm not joking. We could get it repoed. But I would have like a 20-second faster clear time in the Spiral Abyss if I got this. So I do think it's worth it. $600 is a decent sized amount of money. It's not about spending the $600. It's about spending $600 when you don't have $600 to spend. That's what it's all about.
I think that's going to make it a lot worse. Furina's not going to come to your rescue. She's not real. Sorry to hit you with the cold water. All you're doing is digging yourself into a deeper hole, and now you're losing your fiance over it as well because you couldn't resist the urge to waste your money with her on this game behind her back.
Honestly, if this is real, this is actually a W. I can't think of anything worse for her than actually following through with this marriage, knowing that this person is like this completely fucked in the head. It would be terrible to find this out, maybe, or to have like this actually happen to a higher degree 1 or 2 years into the marriage, where they're like thinking about potentially like having offspring, and then like buying a home, stuff like that. Oh boy, literally imagine losing the house because this dude needed to C6 the Tsaritsa. He's just like, oh my gosh, my ice queen, I need her now. Fuck the house. I could totally see this guy doing that. Preschool? More like homeschooled. Oh, I know what to spend that money on, buddy boy. Hey, we're homeschooling all the kids, honey. Like, I could totally see that happening.
Everything pops off here in Act 4 of this. He spirals out of control. I don't want to get married to you. I'm not talking on the phone. So now he's the one calling the marriage off. If you can't respect me wasting all of our money on Furina and Genshin Impact characters, then we're just not meant to be, you narcissist. You thought that you could control me? You can't control me. I'm like Michael Jordan in his prime. You can't control me. You can only hope to contain me, but you can't do that either because I'm hard addicted to Genshin Gacha, and I will waste all of the money that I ever see in my life on it. I emailed screenshots for my appointment tomorrow. Thank you for... Oh, sorry. I emailed screenshots for my appointment tomorrow. Thank you for giving me a horrible anxiety attack and ruining my night.
Oh, so he's... All right. I am all for getting all the mental health treatment you need. I am all for getting that. But I'm not gonna lie, this actually does seem like you're just digging yourself into an even bigger hole. Because guess what? This is manufactured. It's like a mixture of like being manufactured by the guy, but then also like his pre-existing condition that made him spend his emergency savings on Furina, I guess, maybe the appointment is actually the right thing. But clearly, if this is the sort of shit that's coming out of those appointments, they probably are a waste of money. Maybe they aren't even appointments. Maybe it's just talking to like some random crackhead on the street for relationship advice. Like, because if this is what he's getting out of the appointments, and he's still spending, it's fucked. It's not very helpful.
And no, I didn't do a fucking thing with Furina yet because of your calls.
Why is he talking about Furina like it's like the third girl? Like Furina's like the homewrecker. Like he's talking about her like she's a real person.
That's heartbreaking. I spent all this money on Furina, and you yapping and blabbering about how bad and big of a deal it is has prevented me from spending time with Furina. You proud of yourself now? I didn't even get to use Furina yet. As he's like shedding tears, profusely crying in his bathtub. She then makes a threat that sends him off the rails. This was threatening the nuclear option. She said, I'll call Capital One and dispute the charge. Your account will be banned. I have no doubt when he read that, his heart sank. The pit in his stomach expanding to a black hole in his soul. All of the color in his world turned to gray as he was faced with the possibility of losing Furina.
I mean, it's more than Furina. It's what he's been spending the past, I don't know, 4 years building up, potentially, depending on how long he's been playing.
He said, "Try it. You'll lose me forever. Why? I'm going to Scottsdale for the night. Stop calling me for 12 hours and we can talk then. Good night. Will you please answer my mom? Please?"
Okay, this actually... So, the fact that they said, "Will you please answer my mom?" This kind of just confirms to me this is real. Because this is too pathetic to be fake. It's kind of like, when you think about, like, made-up stuff, there's, like, a range, right? Between, like, how absurd it is or how mild it is of whether or not it's, like, real. And this thing was, like, in, like, the fake territory. But with the mom comment, it got so pathetic, it's, like, now real. It is so cringe and pathetic, it's now become more believable. Because nobody would think of something this cringe. Because they would be like writing it down, making it up, and they'd be like, this is too pathetic for people to believe this. And that's what makes me think this is real. Like, think about it this way. This guy has absolutely no ability to critically think about finances, no ability to think about how his actions are able to impact other people, is going ahead, spending $600 of money that the couple doesn't have on one of the most useless expenditures on the planet when they know it's explicitly being saved for, for emergencies. They're living paycheck to paycheck, but then also spending hundreds of dollars on a gacha game when they have the option of playing it for free. It's so absurd. It's so absurd that it feels like it has to be real. And then the whole comment about, "Will you please call my mom because she's trying to deal with my problems for me?" Yeah, this guy does seem like a man-child that has no idea what's going on. I hope mom saved his Furina. Yeah, I hope mom saved Furina too. I hope Furina's not going to get banned.
So, during this, his mom, I guess, was trying to get involved. Like, "How can you do this to my son?" According to the fiance here, his family started calling her abusive for this, which is crazy that even his family doesn't understand how bad it is to waste the emergency money on fucking Genshin Impact characters. So his mom, I guess, was trying to call to give her a piece of her mind, an earful on this. Like, "How unreasonable can you be to my son, you abusive narcissist?" And then he tries to do the old Jekyll and Hyde routine, so he comes back and says, "I apologize for my reaction. As I said, my anxiety is bad today, and I have to do better. I love you. You don't need to dispute the charges. I'll get you the money soon. Redacted can spot me 600 tonight, so you can text him your Venmo. Anxiety really bad. Redacted, please."
I'm not gonna lie. If somebody talks about anxiety that much, that has to be one of the biggest red flags to me. Where it's just, we can't just keep spamming it. We can't just keep spamming, "We have anxiety," every single time we do something that is just outright fucking dumb. "I did it because I had anxiety. I responded like that because I had anxiety." It's just like, oh, you could just, I was being a dumb fucking idiot. I was being an absolute clown. Yeah, the third party anxiety is a red flag. Just say I'm anxious, or just say, "I'm nervous, so I was being a fucking idiot," right? It's just, anxiety is not like some status effect that you can use as the reason for every dumbass fucking thing you always do. Sometimes you're just being stupid. And this is a clear-cut example of that.
That damn anxiety using him like a goddamn fleshlight here. He treats anxiety like he's trapped in a fucking genjutsu. I love how everything about him changed.
Hey, okay, we're all saying the same thing here. We're all aligned. Every, I would say, normal person in this conversation does feel like they're aligned on the take.
Once she threatened to dispute the charge and he might lose Furina. "No, don't do that. Please, don't do anything drastic. We can..."
The way that Charlie's framing this, I do realize that he probably heard that she was going to charge back his account, get his, Furina banned or deleted, and then he immediately called his mom, probably crying. "Oh, please don't let her do this. Oh, she can't do this. She's gonna end everything. Oh, I can't lose my Furina, please, mom." Imagine. This is the thing. There's no going back from that. Like, imagine you're the woman on this side of the equation. This dude straight up calls his mom crying because his virtual PNG might be deleted. You were gonna get married to this guy. You're probably thinking you're stupid for even considering. There's no coming back from this. Bro called his mom to save his 2D PNG. A 29-year-old man called his mom to go save his 2D PNG. There's no way you have any more respect for this person. There's no way you're gonna look at this person the same ever again.
Still come back from this. Look, don't. Without Furina, I have nothing. I have nothing. So now he's getting his mom on the horn, like, Mom, we have to save Furina. He's treating it like a hostage negotiation now. And he's like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Look, don't dispute the charges. Don't dispute the charges. I'll get the $600 another way. Anything but that. Please, God, no, don't do it.
What it makes me wonder is, was this something that just spontaneously developed over the past, like, 2 years? Was this guy just, like, a completely normal dude prior to this? And it also leads me to wonder, how did he even enter into a relationship in the first place? Is this just his vice? Is this basically just like Superman accidentally being exposed to kryptonite? The second this guy looks like Genshin Impact, he just like devolves into a fucking caveman? How does that work?
My anxiety is really bad. Look, it's just bad anxiety. Anxiety is what caused all of this. Look, we don't need to do anything like this. It doesn't have to be this extreme. Anyway, though, that's the whole text journey, but the poster did give a bit of an update. The marriage is off, and he's blocked her, but is still actively playing Genshin Impact on Discord, so he's at his mom's house doing that. She did get $600 sent to her, so she was able to get that back and lock the account, which is good. And also it's good that they, got this out of the way before they were fully married, because
Thank God for that.
This would have been a disaster if this had happened during the marriage. That would have made it a lot messier, so pretty rough situation overall, but at least it came before it was, fully kaput in the books as a marriage.
To me, it's like popping a pimple when it's like, when it's like fully come to head versus like, I don't know. It turns out that it was like a fucking nasty ass like cyst that like proceeds to like melt away half of your face. This is like popping it when you need to before it like fucks you harder. And I'm gonna be real. I don't think this is really even a Genshin Impact thing. This is a mental illness thing. You might call it fake, you might call it real, but this is just somebody that is not okay in the head. And Genshin Impact is, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you view the game, it is sort of like the target of this individual's obsession. If it wasn't Genshin, it was going to be something else. Weirdo ruins marriage over Genshin Impact is technically what happened, but it's more so Weirdo ruins marriage because they have a mental illness is probably a more accurate way to break it down. It's a bit of a ridiculous situation. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something about this or something similar to this for Wuwa in the future. It's just something that's going to occur in the current day and age because I'm going to be real. I feel like COVID did fuck a lot of people up, and maybe this guy, whatever he's going through, right, whatever he's calling his mom about, it might have just been a result of COVID. It did a number on everybody. Let me know what you think. Peace.